right, so we're back, I hope. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Just started a stream, internet crashed, stream basically got canceled. Uh, right now, I believe I'm back up live. Things are uploading, looks to be a good thing. Let me make sure my controller is working. Okay, controller is back. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, it's working. So for whatever reason, guys, my internet connection is not working properly. So I'm actually gonna have to stream this from my phone, which will be interesting. I got a new phone plan, so we'll see how well it streams. But the show must go on. Cannot believe there's been this much. There's been this much turbulence. Let's just say when it comes to being able to get online here. Okay, so I'm having issues with ping again. All right, let's see. Let me do a speed test. See how fast I'm going right now. So speed test. Man, this is wild. I might have to move my modem in here because this is nuts. Okay, let's see what download I'm getting. Sure, you can access my location. All right. Oh my. How is this 5G? How, Sway? How? How is this 5G? Oh man. This is a cancellation waiting to happen. Tell me how I'm getting 4 download 5G speeds. This is a robbery. My goodness. Uh, I mean, we'll see. I was supposed to be getting 300 from my modem, and that wasn't working at all either. So, whatever the case is, let's do this. So continue. So the audio is streaming perfectly. Video, not so much. Yeah, video is having very. Oh, this is. Nah, this is too much. I can't do this to y'all. Wow. Man, this is frustrating. So here I am trying to get along and have a nice, simple, peaceful stream where you just game, not have to think about too much. And for whatever reason here, my connection just is choppy and not working. Uh, and this is two different internet connections. I don't know what it is here, but this is odd. This doesn't make any sense. The connection I have is supposed to be running 300 down or downloads and stuff, and then with 5G, I'm supposed to be getting at least 50 download, right? At least, I mean that's 4G speed at this point. So the fact that I'm getting 3 speeds right now is very weird, and the fact that I'm getting even slower than that with my home internet connection is also very weird. I don't know what could be the cause of this. This has been a very weird day overall, just at work and with everything else. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna head here with the rest of the stream, but I gotta think of something because I do need to do my 100 days here. So let me see. I'm going to see if I can stream the rest of the video that I was streaming last time from Dom's gaming channel. Let's see here. All right, so let me share my screen. Yeah, so I didn't have much planned today except for the game. Like I said, it's supposed to be very, very peaceful stream when I'm just playing the game, giving some commentary. But for whatever reason, this has happened. So what I'm gonna do here is pop open this video from Dom's gaming channel, and he says, "Why you should never stop playing video games." Okay, This is another video here I haven't seen from him. But given that my connection is rolling at a snail's pace, okay, so this isn't going to work either. This is wild. This is wild. What's going on here, guys? But is this stream is even live at this point? Let me check, because I'm not confident that it is, given what's going on. So let me check my channel. Let's go to YouTube. Okay. All right. So I am live, and it looks like I've been able to now load Dom's video. So let's get back into it, guys. I haven't seen this video either, but let's see what Dom has to say here. Okay, so let's see. Let's bring it back. That's interesting. So he's saying that there's benefits to game, which I think we can all agree that there is. We've been shamed into thinking that there isn't. Those benefits are, I'm curious. So let's see what Dom has to say.
So many minutes of healthy habit. Some sharp cognition. Many benefits.
Interesting. I'm curious to see what these studies are. Mind, memory, cognitive function. That all makes sense, right, in terms of where and how that would be. But it doesn't look like he had any of the studies posted here, which is fine. I have to look them up myself. But yeah, I'm curious to see what these are, because again, I think a lot of this is downplayed, and we don't hear about it that often in terms of the benefits of gaming, especially the benefits of it compared to other mediums and other forms. So let's see what else he's got to say.
But the benefits are there. People are aware of it. Easy to think about how gaming can be bad. But you refer to the they go live. Matter of fact, people are the volume of gamers. That you is and would to be playing is the same to be watching movies or reading books. Never said that.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I've never, ever, ever heard anyone say you're too old to be reading books. Maybe comic books, maybe, but just overall, yeah, I've never heard that. Too old to be watching movies is also another one that he's right in saying that you also never hear as well, which is interesting, right? I find that fascinating how, as a medium in particular, gaming has sort of gone direct. It makes me wonder how, what is it about, I guess, the modern media for today's, youth, let's say. Oh man, what is it about the media for today's youth in particular that has also led to that as well? Like what would we say that is social media the media of today's youth? Is it? It might be, right? And if it is, does that mean that social media in particular also has some of these stigmas as well attached to it? Could it be potentially that there's positivity associated with social media and not just negativity associated with it, which is what we mostly see? Potentially, right? I think there might be something there. That's another thing to look into and study, right? I don't know. I just hear about all the negatives of it and all the bad aspects of social media and what it's done to the world and what it's doing to teenagers and all that kind of stuff. Personally, with myself, uh, it's been incredibly helpful in a lot of ways. Specifically, YouTube has been awesome. There's so much that I know now that I would not know had I not had access to YouTube and be able to learn different things. I cooked a meal last night, and I said I went to YouTube school, right? Because I was getting compliments on the flavor of the meal, right? So, in the same way that I think social media has issues. I think it also has benefits. I think in the same way as well, gaming has issues, it also has benefits. And when people are arguing and making their case, oftentimes what I find they do is they tend to focus a little more on the negative aspects of things and only on those, and try to harp extremely towards those, right? So they take something like the minority of gamers that are addicted and have issues, and try to paint that as the entire community of gamers in general. So it's interesting what Dom is saying here in regards to that. I actually didn't know that the minority was that, believe it or not. Yeah, just I didn't like that's how strong the media push has been against gaming. Because as someone who knows gamers, who loves games, I don't know if I can necessarily say that there's anyone in my immediate circle is addicted to them in any way. So the fact that this is the stigma associated and attached is very, very interesting.
The benefits that we get from other things and additional benefits don't get. If
Yeah, that's a key part too. I was talking about this over the weekend with some friends, which is that like there's an aspect of gaming where you more than just the visual and the audio, but you also have the interactivity. And there's something about interaction and being able to interact. I mean, we're on stream right now where you guys can at any point just pop in your questions, right? And I'm able to respond to them. And there's something about interactivity that makes something more engaging. It's why AI is so popular right now, because it has this element where it's you can interact with it. You send a message out, it sends something back in, and it reacts to you throw at it, right? Interactivity is very key in media, but not all media is able to be interactive in general. Interactivity is key when it comes to learning, specifically when you're actively participating in something, you're more effectively learning that same thing. And that's something that we don't think about most often, or it doesn't really come to mind. But the reality is that the more you're interacting, the better and more that you learn. The thing that happens when speakers are right when they teach a public speaker, one of the tools of the trade is to get your audience to speak back to you. So you say something to them, you respond, and they speak back to you. What that does is it actually helps them to be more engaged and pay more attention. And another word for engagement is entertainment, right? At least, yeah, the way I look at it. So in this case, what you're looking at here is this interesting aspect of how that aspect of engagement, right, is specifically. Hold on. Hold on. I think something's going on. Will they handle it? Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, something was going on in the house. I was just listening in to make sure that it was handled by everyone that's over there, and it looks like things are safe. Yeah, it's being dealt with. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah. So gaming in particular, right? Those interactive elements of it allow for things to be way more engaging, and I think that's really important. One thing that we also don't think about, but that makes things more engaging, is that when you look at something like, uh, usually when something's more engaging, oftentimes it's like you're adding features or adding things to it to make it more engaging. But sometimes taking things away and making things simpler is also something that allows it to be more engaging as well. So I've noticed a lot where there's a story I was told where there was this teacher that was working at university, right? And he noticed that his students in his class were watching porn, and they were basically doing all kinds of other things on their laptops. So he got upset with this, right? He hired someone to sort of be like a stealth student. And this student was essentially going in and watching what people were doing in class and whether or not they were actually paying attention to the lectures during class, which is interesting because I remember when I was in school, uh, yeah, people were doing all kinds of other stuff during class. Like people are literally playing video games during class. So he found out that 90 or so percent of students who had a laptop in class were not even paying attention, or they're doing something else with it. So he actually removed all laptops from the classroom because no one was taking notes anyways. And then he realized that if he can't have a laptop, if his students can't have a laptop, he has to lead by example and not have a laptop as well. So he got rid of his laptop and his slides. And then on top of that, he noticed that there was also some other uh, issues with things. So he got rid of his microphone. Now this teacher all of a sudden is teaching a room full of students, right, with just his voice. And one of the things he had to do is he essentially forced the students to pay attention, because there was no speaker, because there was no slides, because there was no distractions. They had to pay attention to the class. He was using a whiteboard, so in order to see, they had to come closer. To hear, they had to come closer. And all of a sudden now you had him teaching the lesson like they used to teach lessons, thousands of years ago, right? Where it's just him and a bunch of students sitting together closely. And what's interesting is that this was actually more effective and more engaging than using the technology that was there. And this was also very, very interesting, right? Because you have a situation here now where the students were more engaged, but what caused them to be more engaged was not adding new material or adding new things, but instead it was taking it away. And I think that's a very key thing to pay attention to, especially for those that are creating and building things, is that we always think more is more, but sometimes less is more, and much more at that. So, with that said, I'm gonna get the video here, but yeah, there's an interesting aspect of the interactivity involved in that classroom. The students were now able to interact at a better way, better pace, and because of that interactivity, they were able to have more effective study. And ultimately, from what I remember, that specific class, the students in that class performed better than uh, all other students within the faculty, which is saying a lot. Now, this is a story from a friend of mine who was at the school at the time, right? I met this teacher, so I can't confirm all the details from it, but he's a trustworthy source enough in regards to the detail. But nonetheless, it's a really cool story in terms of seeing how engagement, right, can shift with less things being added to the equation. So I just wanted to add that there before we continue on here with Dom's video. We're about a minute in, which is I think longer than the last time we did with the last video. Fallout.
Look of the other think bad again. Things definitely for in the last physical health so long now for getting all the being think what plan we are from you.
Okay, so interesting here. He's essentially saying that uh, because of the nature of gaming and the way that it exercises your mind, that it's a healthy thing to incorporate and keep specifically in the development of your mind in the long term. So maybe he's talking about like preventing things like Alzheimer's and stuff by gaming, which is interesting, right? It makes me wonder now that we're entering this age where gamers are now becoming seniors, right? Because gaming is so young that everyone who has ever been a gamer had not reached old age yet, had not become a senior. So we didn't even have any data on what that even looks like to game your entire life or to game as you're older in regards to your mental health. But one thing that I think would make sense, given how our bodies work, is that the more you use your mind specifically, the more you keep your mind. So in this case, people that are gaming into the old age, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw studies where Alzheimer's or whatever was lower because of it, right? It's a very curious thought. Makes me want to look into it a bit more. Who knows? Maybe I'll ask Grok or something to see what I come up with in a moment.
Time to start with game, new game got a barn layout, you're gonna start pretty next day. You work with say some okay become if you get a lot, really don't realize how it's happening.
Yeah, this is a very, 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 very good point. What you just mentioned there about how when you're gaming and you're essentially learning something new, and every time you're picking up a new game, it's a new experience that you have to then learn. To me, is I think very very important to mention, specifically because there's that feeling you get from learning a new game. It's like a rush of almost excitement, right? Because you're in a new environment and you're learning new things. And once you sort of are trained or programmed to get used to that feeling of the new and learning new things, it actually translates pretty well into real life. There's been a few jobs I've started where it's been like a new environment and everything is like brand new and unknown, right? And in those environments, I've actually not only thrived but been excited because it's like, oh yeah, here we go. I get to learn a new thing, right? Because ultimately, a job in a lot of ways is a game, right? There's a lot of tasks that you do that earn you or points or whatever the case might be. And there's a lot of aspects of a job that's very gamey, let's say. Right? So oftentimes when starting a new job or being in a new industry, whatever it is, you kind of get that sense of new game feeling sometimes when you're in those environments. I know I do, right? Definitely, I do in a lot of ways. And yeah, what he's saying here is key. One of the, I think, superpowers I feel like I've had over the years is being able to pick up things and learn them very, very quickly. It's been really helpful because there's there's very little I can just pick up and not start doing because of this ability to learn quickly, right? And something tells me that there's something to do with that ability and the fact that I've played so many games over my lifetime and that I've gone through and beat them and played so many different variety of games as well and have been doing it from such an early age. I think that those things affected my mind in such a way that for whatever reason I'm able to pick up and learn things like software very effectively and very very quickly and learn yeah, just different tools and stuff. Like right now the tool I'm using for this stream is called Riverside, and I was able to pick it up and learn it pretty quickly. Now mind you, it's not necessarily the most difficult software of them all to learn, but it's something that yeah, I've been able to pick up and use. And I think it was Adobe. What was it? There's this an Adobe thing called Adobe Premiere Pro. I think yeah, Premiere Pro. So I'd never used Premiere Pro before, and in one night I picked it up and was able to edit, I would say 2 minute commercial, an ad for something where I did the voiceover, got the video clips, wrote the script, got everything together, and it was actually, I would say, a pretty solid ad given it was built in just a few hours, right? And the that aspect of being able to do that and learn the software and do it effectively and quickly, in large part, I think came from gaming, to be honest, and being so used to learning new things in game and then eventually, when studying gaming in school, the way they structured our program was that they would give us brand new software and they would just have us figure it out and learn the ins and outs of it to figure out how to make a game. And I think there's some of those mechanics that translate over into real life. So it's interesting he mentions this thing here in regards to the the learning aspect of things, how it keeps your mind fresh.
You're you stick right moves the as well. No and some break when you start trying to and in your stuff.
Yeah, and I really, really enjoy strategy games in particular. And what I like as well about strategy games is there's such a wide variety of different kinds of strategy games. It's yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I do like that aspect of things, especially the resource management aspect of things, because yeah, it really teaches you how to think about things in a way that's really high level, which I think is really important, especially for young men to be able to do. And these games do teach that, which is very interesting. One thing I'll say though is with some resource management games, a lot of the mobile stuff has been super super annoying to get into those types of resource management games. But overall, yeah, these games are pretty solid. I find they're so immersive, so much depth as well though, that you can't really, yeah, it's like there's this aspect of games I find where there's so much bandwidth you have to game, and certain types of games take up more of your gaming bandwidth, if that makes sense. So like a single player adventure game is going to take up way less bandwidth than say a multiplayer fighter, right, or a multiplayer strategy game, which takes up way more of your gaming bandwidth because there's just a lot more to learn and master, so it's, yeah, it's very interesting.
Stuff like that. Or never touched on before. Character, multiple at the same time, an open world, which maybe give you comfortable.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. What they're talking about there with the open world and the multiple aspects of things. Because once you get into a work world, especially if you're dealing with anything like entrepreneurship as well, or a job that's very entrepreneurial in general, is that you do tend to get a lot of tasks and task lists and things to do, right? And what's interesting about these games is for some of them you literally have a checklist of things to do that you can go to, right? And it's really funny because when you look at it that way, you're kind of learning project management to a light degree in some of these games, and I think that they should probably lean more into that and teach elements of project management within the game through the gameplay mechanics. I think that will be actually pretty helpful in terms of making the game more engaging and fun, while at the same time allowing people to, yeah, just learn that skill, right? Passively, unknowingly that they're learning it. So the task thing and juggling a lot of tasks at once. I mean, my goodness, the amount of things I need to juggle on a day-to-day basis is wild. And yeah, I mean, learning that through gameplay, I think is very interesting and key as well. Speaking of which, the game I'm playing now, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, I just played through it, beat it a couple times, but now I'm actually going through to see if I can. They don't have platinum, I don't think, for Xbox, but basically get all the achievements, right. And in order to do that, there's a checklist that's pre-set up for you in terms of the achievements. So that mechanic of going to check your checklist and then going and doing the thing, and going to check your checklist and then going to do the thing, it's the exact same process I use at work when I'm going to check my tasks and then going to complete them and so on, right? So it's the same muscle, same mechanics being practiced, which again, it tells me that you're doing more than just playing the game, right? You're learning to life essentially, right? In an interesting and weird way, because I don't think that when the designers were designing those mechanics into the game that they're thinking, oh, we're gonna these guys how to use a checklist and task manage through this mechanic here in the game. But it's very much there, right?
If you use the games, pro and come is yeah.
I'm excited for into the research. Yes, that aspect of feeling like you're not good enough early on and how discouraging that is, especially when it comes to a new pursuit, is, oh man, it's huge. It can basically make you almost give up, right? I mean, look at the beginning of the stream. I could barely get things going with the internet. I could barely get things going with the gaming stream. I could barely get up. And 5 minutes into the stream, I was literally like thinking, should I just give up? Should I just stop the stream? There's been so many hurdles preventing me from continuing this. Should I just give up? And you know, when you're in a video game and you lose and you have that continue screen, it's like, should you continue, right? It's the exact same thing. So I clicked continue, and here I am, you know, having a stream talking about uh, video games and why I should never stop playing. Shout outs to Dom's gaming channel again for the great content to, you know, help me to comment on here. But yeah, I find this very, very fascinating, right? Very interesting. This idea that basically gaming forces you to be in situations that are uncomfortable and forces you to learn and push past those and essentially become stronger, and yeah, it builds in that internal character, which is so interesting. Because again, I don't even really think about this stuff, but it's very, very true. One of the things that to me was the most fascinating thing actually was watching my wife play through the intro of Mass Effect 2 and just seeing the reactions of her playing through it and just her freaking out, all those different moments. Uh, it was really interesting to watch because there's all these things that are going through her mind as she's playing it that to me just I'm so used to that it naturally happens, right? So it's really interesting to kind of see all of that, and I like what he's mentioning here, particularly with this aspect of an intro and getting through a game intro and all those things and how it affects you, right? So yeah, it's very, very interesting, very fascinating. I like a lot what Dom has to say here. So I'm gonna I like there's 14 minutes here. I'm not gonna get through the whole video because you guys should go check out Dom's channel and watch it. I will come back in and finish watching the video myself because I think this is a great video so far. But man, I'm curious to see what science is gonna bring up in regards to this. But man, this is really good stuff.
There's a study of a very long game called Super Mario 64 increases hippocampal matter in older adults.
What?
In the people between
What? What? Okay. Hippocampal gray matter. Okay, so that's really interesting because the gray matter, in particular, in your mind, what's interesting about that is that it deals a lot with, you know, cognitive function, particularly with language and speech and dreaming and thinking. And that, so mentioning that's interesting because it makes me wonder, uh, do gamers or does gaming affect your gray matter to where it causes it to be more enlarged, let's say, or I don't know, have more of it than say the average person? I know that Insomniac specifically, you know, not gaming studio, but Insomniacs, people who, you know, sleep really late or need to be up really late. One of the things that they have in is the gray matter in their brain, from what I remember, is different than say in other people, where, or I should say, night owls, but insomniacs sometimes, you know, crossover with night owls. This idea that the gray matter in your brain is a little different. They tend to have more gray matter than their other sleep types do, chronotypes, and specifically when they sleep, they need dream sleep a lot more than others. It's very, very important and valuable for them to receive dream sleep, and this dream sleep sort of helps with that white matter in the brain, and then more of that's required. And I remember when I was younger and I used to play specifically Mario games a lot. I remember I'd have all these vivid dreams when playing these games, and it makes me wonder if, you know, there's a correlation there, right, between uh, what the game is doing and then what it's doing to your brain, right? But ultimately, what it's transforming your brain or your mind into, it has me very, very curious. But yeah, let me continue hearing about this study here, which sounds so fun. Oh man, I wish Dom posted this study. I'm gonna pull it up and show it to all my science friends. But man, this sounds fun.
for assigned groups spent months running and
6 months.
trying to get increasing frame with heavily measurable brain changes and
Wow.
think about soon actually send a special learner
Yeah.
area. You've got to know what it is. you can take the wrong route, forget where a door leads, obvious, and really start on the picture of this place in your after a while you begin to think about it much. You can move through the world almost automatically. That feeling of going from completely lost to knowing a place inside out is something that gamers experience all the time. Now, the game we play today, or an open game with an hour through the same environment.
Okay, so I think we're gonna end the video here, but that's a very interesting study and a very interesting point, right? And back to theory of entertainment, and the purpose of this channel is essentially to highlight this aspect of how specifically when you're being entertained within a property, it's not entertainment. Your brain somehow recognizing that whatever's in front of it is important towards something needed in the future. And because of it, certain things are activated and turned on in order to make sure that you're expanding yourself. And in particular, here, it looks like the people playing Mario 64, the seniors in this case, were expanding their mind, right? Excuse me. And in that expansion, they were able to be more spatially aware. And that spatial awareness is obviously so that they can play the game. However, I do think that the spatial awareness doesn't end at just the gameplay, and that it continues to carry on through other areas and aspects of their lives. So that's a very, very interesting thing. And I really want to find some of these studies and more of them. Hopefully, Dom, if you're watching, I don't know if you are, but it'd be good to kind of get some of this stuff specifically referenced at the bottom of the video, so that others can look into the study and read it and stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting to see that it looks like there's a lot, from what I'm hearing, a lot of positive studies in gaming, and a lot of that seems to be proving a lot of what I'm thinking here to be true in regards to this theory that ultimately, the more engaged something is, the more it is that it is a tool for you to learn, and the better of a tool it is for you to learn. So, anyways, with that said, guys, I'm going to end the stream here today. I gotta wrap up my lunch hour, get back to work. But overall, I think that yeah, this was a really, really nice video here from Dom. It's called "Why You Should Never Stop Playing Video Games," and I really appreciate that because I know there's a time in my life where, given family and all those obligations, I just stopped gaming. I genuinely stopped gaming for a long time. New consoles would come out and I wouldn't purchase them. New stuff would be there and I just wouldn't touch it at all, right? And yeah, I wouldn't say I gave up on gaming, but I just didn't think I could afford the hobby at the time, and yeah, I just wasn't doing it as much. And I remember my wife insisting on making sure that I gamed and that I picked back up the controller, right? Essentially. And thank God for my wife, because if it wasn't for her saying that, I mean, I wouldn't be here today doing the stream. And the attempted stream earlier where, we tried to play the game and it wasn't working, right? Part of that is because, like I said, I hadn't been purchasing any hardware. So I don't have a console necessarily, right? That's available right now. I'm having to use my Mac to game, and you know how Macs are with gaming. So, like, I use that Microsoft streaming service, which because of my weird choppy connection right now is not working, right? So again, you have this thing where I went for a while without gaming, and my wife was insisting on making sure that hey, you got to get the controller back up, and yeah, so we got this wireless controller here from Amazon that, well, she got it for me. You know, it works well enough to get the job done. Was able to find some Microsoft streaming, right? And yeah, I'm now able to stream some games. And which reminds me, I have a Apple Arcade. I gotta check out what's available on Apple Arcade for the Mac. But anyways, the point I'm making here is that essentially, Dom says we should never stop playing video games, and I almost stopped playing video games. It wasn't for, again, my wife insisting on making sure that I do pick up the controller. Yeah, and she wasn't even aware of these benefits that Dom's talking about here. So yeah, I thank God for that, because yeah, here I am now, able to stream and able to continue learning from these different games and learning different things. I don't think that this theory of entertainment in general, I would have noticed it as well had I not been gaming, because I think of all the areas in which this thing shows up, I think it shows up the most in gaming, because the gaming, I think, is, the peak of uh, media or entertainment, let's say, right? It's the highest point in all of it because of the fact that you're combining so many disciplines together to make a game. So yeah, it's most noticeable in that arena. But anyways, that's enough rambling for today, guys. This has been your man Lex. This is Theory of Entertainment, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will catch you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.